So we are very blessed this evening to have with us Lynn Mark, who comes to us from the Immigration Department of Legal Services at Eastern Missouri. And share with us this evening a little bit about her history across time in different places, working with different communities, and also what's happening in our region, immigration and work of advocates for the folks who are coming in different places. So if you be so kind as to welcome Lynn. Well, good evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I enjoy public speaking and I enjoy talking about what it is that we do at Legal Services. And I do have some notes because if I didn't, you'd be here at midnight, or I'd be here at midnight. The whole field of immigration, from a legal point of view, is probably one of the more complex areas of the law, and so it takes a lot to understand what the possibilities are and what we can do for people and what we cannot do for people. So I was a nurse for 46 years when I retired, and I spent a week at home with nothing to do, and thought, oh, I can't do this. This is not good. So I had been working with a Hispanic population and was interested in immigration issues. And anyway, I took some training, a lot of training. And now I'm what you would call an immigration paralegal. Not an immigration attorney by any means. I work under the supervision of one, but I do have my own caseload. So if you come and visit me in my company, you'll see my whiteboard with 50 people's names on it. And you know, each person that we take care of represents someone who is here, probably not having been legally accepted as here. But many have, but some have not. And so we work with people under all kinds of circumstances. And what our goal is to try to make use of the processes that are available for legal status in the United States. And when I hear people say, and I hear it a lot, say, why don't they just come here legally? And the answer to that is because there's not that many pathways to come here legally. So I thought tonight I'll just talk a little bit about what are the legal ways and what we do for people, and just tell you some stories of my clients. They're all very brave people. I have heard stories that warm my heart. I have heard stories that curl my hair about what it took to get here from wherever their home country is. So there's a whole population of people out there who don't have complete status to be here legally, who are trying to make a living, trying to support their families, and just trying to do what the rest of us do, make it from one day to the next. But just for some information about Missouri immigration, and I didn't know this, but there's a great website where you can go and find out statistics about immigrants in all 50 states. But I just stuck to Missouri because I don't have all that. I didn't know this, but there are over 300,000 immigrant residents in the state of Missouri. 70,000 of those, and this is an approximation because these are people who are undocumented, but they are here nevertheless. 70,000 is a pretty good number of people who are here without permission to be here. However, these are folks that are the undocumented people. Somehow this organization found out how much money they pay into state and federal taxes. So these are people who are working and filing taxes. It used to disturb me a little bit that most undocumented people are working with assumed Social Security numbers, because that's the only way you can get a job here is to have a Social Security number. And it is considered fraud to be using a Social Security number that does not belong to you, but there is no other way in which someone can support a family and make a living. So I stopped passing judgment on that. It's not my place to do that. Really. But the immigrants in the state of Missouri pay at least $3.3 billion in taxes to the federal government and to the state of Missouri. So these are not people that are coming here to take advantage of our money, to take our money away from us, to take our benefits away from us. Because the only benefit an immigrant gets is if they're here undocumented, the only thing they get is deported. So there's no such, and I have friends who tell me that they are sure that when people cross over the border, they start receiving Social Security, they are given houses, they're given jobs, and a lot of those, frankly, their lives are coming from the highest level of our government. Now, to talk about what the new administration's effect has been in the St. Louis area, we are fortunate because so far there haven't been huge raids by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. There have been small raids. And I got a call the other day from a social worker who's a Spanish translator in a school district, and she was beside herself because one of her families, the dad was driving, he's undocumented, he was driving home, it was his 4-year-old boy's birthday. He had a cake and some presents. He was going home. On the way home, another driver flipped him, and so they had to stop. Police came. They arrested the little boy's father, put him in handcuffs, and sent him to a detention center in Oklahoma. This man has no criminal record. He's one that just got swept up. And I have no way of knowing what happened to him. So anyway, getting back to the immigration situation we had here in St. Louis, we are a very rich and diverse community. As you all know, we have pockets of people from China, Philippines, Vietnam, Middle East. We have clients, I have clients from all over the world, from Africa, from the Middle East, from Central and South America, and they're all here because what they want is to be productive citizens. Now, if you were to ask me, what is it that most people want? What do they want the most? The most valuable thing that we can give people is a work card, authorization to be employed. Those are very, very hard to get. And so people are forced to work, as I said, without legal permission to be working. And it's just ironic to me that we expect people to obey the law, and yet we make it almost impossible for them to do that. Getting a work authorization card sometimes takes years. So in the meantime, what are you supposed to do? You know, you have a young family, you've got little kids, you have people that you want to support, you send money back home. So you work and you hope that you won't get caught. One of the ways to come here that directly affected the St. Louis area is to be a refugee. And I don't know how many of you know about the International Institute down in Arsenal. They are the only official refugee resettlement organization in the St. Louis area, in the eastern part of Missouri. Because of an executive order that has stopped the process of refugees coming to this country, they had to lay off 60% of their staff. So until that executive order is either fought in the courts, which there are a number of court cases going on right now to try to correct some of the things that were done the day after the inauguration. A whole flurry of executive orders that had direct effects on people's lives. Many of them are illegal, and so that's why there's court filings being made to try to correct the situation. Another way to get here is to come to our border and request asylum. And you have probably heard that there are thousands of asylum seekers that are on the southern side of the border with Mexico. And they are there because they are not able to get appointments with immigration services to cure their case. When you come and apply for asylum, you have to have what's called a credible fear interview. You have to prove to the official that you have a very good reason for not wanting to return to your home country. Either what's waiting for you is death or something, if there is something worse than death, it's waiting there for you and you don't want to return. I read a little phrase one time that said, no one wants to leave home unless home is the mouth of a shark. And all of our people are in sharks' mouths, and that's why they came here. I don't debate that the system is broken. It's been broken a long time. I don't debate that we can't handle the influx of so many people that are coming because we're not prepared for those numbers. And by being prepared, it means we have no way to process them. Right now, another executive order or another action has been to fire a number of immigration judges. What that does is just slows the process down even more because the judges that do exist have a caseload among all of them, 3.4 million cases. So why you would fire those judges, I have no idea, other than to slow the process down and to make it different. I have a number of clients in mind who are applying for what's called family-based immigration. And that is if you are an immigrant and you become a citizen or you become a lawful permanent resident, which is a green card holder, you then have the right to petition people, family members, certain family members from your home country. So last year I had a big victory when my client from Iraq had applied for his brothers to come. Now, you have to know he started the application process in 2005, and they did not get their visas until 2024. But they're all here now with their kids and their wives. I call him Mr. Mayor because he's in charge of the village now. I also yesterday did something that could be very significant for two of my clients. Ernesto and Claudia are people from Mexico who have been here since the end of December of the year 2000. They came legally, they had tourist visas. They made a decision to overstay. So when you stay longer than what your visa said, you can't stay, you're overstaying. And you literally are here without status. So since the year 2000, they have been here, their visa expired in 2021. So since then, they have been here without status. And they raised a family. They raised 2 daughters. They both work full time. Claudia works 3 jobs, and Ernesto works as a welder. They pay taxes. And the reason they had several reasons to be nervous. Both of them are working on some with us doing Social Security numbers. And is that something that immigration would make a big deal of? They could very easily. But what happened yesterday was I started working on their case in August, and we got all the information together to file the case for Ernesto and for Claudia. And I sent their files off yesterday by FedEx to the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Took a picture of the FedEx files and sent it to Claudia and said, I have one use. Go with God. Because what happens is as soon as that file arrives in someone's office in Immigration Services and they tear the little thing to open the envelope and they take out that file, all of Claudia and Ernesto's information is available, including the fact that they're here without legal status. So I don't ever advise people to file or not. My job is to say, here's the danger that you're putting yourself in. And only you can decide if you want to do that. Well, and this is not a free process. There's some things for which there are fee waivers in immigration, but it costs, when you're trying to get a green card, it costs about $2,500 a person. which helps pay for, the maintenance of the United States citizenship and immigration services. I don't object to that because, they have to be supported somehow. So it took a while for Claudia and Ernesto to get the $5,000 together to be able to file. But their daughter brought me the checks, and I said, Samantha, do you have any questions? And she said, no. She said, we kind of figured it out. If my parents get deported, me and my sister Alejandra are going to move with them to Mexico and make a life there. We're citizens, we can come and go as we please, but we're going to make sure that we are with our parents. So these are the decisions that people have to make before they decide that they're going to try and become legal in this country. I have another couple whose daughter just turned 21 and also filed for them. I said, what is your plan? Should something happen? They were like, nothing is going to happen, nothing but good, because God is watching out for us. Okay, I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to argue. I have another client in Sierra Leone in Africa. It's a little country on the west coast of Africa. I helped her daughter get her citizenship, and then the daughter petitioned for her mother to come here. Mother came here, helped her get her green card. Mother has a green card now, so she can apply for her other 3 children who are still in Sierra Leone. I started working on this case in 2021, and just a couple weeks ago did they get permission to have a visa. So hopefully the visa interviews will go well. They'll be given a visa. When they arrive here, they will get their green cards and permission to work. So there are definite victories in what I do, but there are also very, very difficult situations. A good amount, and please tell me when I talk too much. My phone's hooked up to the recording. Oh, well, I'm still very engaged in what you have. Oh, okay, all right. The other people that we work with a lot at legal services in my immigration department, we are funded by a grant from the Lutheran Foundation to work with undocumented people who are victims of crime. There is a very good benefit for people who are undocumented, who are victims of crime, who then cooperate with the police to try to help them find the perpetrators and solve the crime. So when they apply for a new visa, which is what it's called, I have to tell them that they are in a very, very long line. Right now, Immigration Services is working on new visas that were filed in 2016. So whoever I file this year is going to have to wait at least 10 years before they find out if they're going to have the status here in this country. And they do not get work cards until their legal status is. So I'm telling you that all my people, they're young women, they have little kids, they are all working wherever they can for whatever they can. So we have a wonderful social worker in our department who helps them find all kinds of stuff, because some of them have been in the shelter for a year or two and have no means of income, and yet have little kids, but the shelter's not supporting. When their time in the shelter is up, they're on their own. So Vina is immigrant herself from India, helps them find furniture and clothing and baby supplies. And at legal services, we have a huge storage room where there are personal care supplies, baby things, diapers, you name it. And we get those through donations, which are always welcome. And the social workers distribute those to all of our clients, not just the immigration people, because all of our clients, we do not charge for our services. We're a not-for-profit organization. So we can only take people that fall within a certain financial range. And I don't have to tell you, it's usually within 100% of the poverty level of the United States. So they're not people that are making a lot of money. So they have many needs, some of which we can meet, some of which we cannot. The other victim of crime benefit is one called the VAWA visa, which is Violence Against Women Act. The VAWA visa is processed a little faster, and you can get a work card within 3 to 4 years, and you will get a green card when your VAWA is approved in about 5 or 6 years. So still, there's long periods of time when people are just kind of dangling out there. And these are the people that are most at risk for deportation because they have no proof that they have any status. I tell people carry, because we're a paper-based organization, as you can imagine. So we get all kinds of things from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services that say, this is your case, this is your number, and I'm going to carry these with me. Copies of them, carry them with you everywhere you go. If you are studying, show them that you are at least in process of some way to become a legal resident of the United States. The other program that is greatly at risk is what's called temporary protected status and humanitarian parole. They're two separate programs. For instance, I have clients who are here through a program that President Biden put together called Uniting for Ukraine. I don't have to tell you what they're escaping. They came here with permission, having been vetted. They get a work card, which is a definite advantage, and they get to stay for 2 years, and then we have to reapply to get it renewed. Same thing with temporary protected status. That is a program where people come here from countries that are in extreme danger. In this country, there's probably 500,000 people or more from Haiti who are here on temporary protected status. So they have a legal status. That's great. They have to renew it every 2 years. Okay, we'll do that. However, those two programs, temporary protected status and humanitarian parole, are very likely to get cut. So they're saying already they're not going to extend temporary protected status for Haiti. So in August of this year, 500,000 people will have no status. So while these things aren't all happening in St. Louis, they're happening around the country, and they will be coming to St. Louis. We just every day wait for the other shoe to drop, because the last time this administration was in, every week there was a new regulation, and we did not follow it to the T, to dot every I and cross every T. The case would either be denied or sent back. So we're under a lot of pressure to make sure that what we do is absolutely complete. So around the country, as I said in St. Louis, we haven't been the victims of massive ICE raids, but cities like New York City, Chicago, LA, Phoenix, they have been. And there's a quota that ICE agents are expected across the country to round up 1,200 undocumented people. What we found out that in those roundups, more than half of them have no criminal record, which was the whole story of we're going to deport all the criminals. Over half of them have no criminal record, and many of them are already green card holders and citizens. They're just swept up. So I want to say one thing. There's talk about if you're here undocumented, you are a criminal. According to the law, that is not true. Being here undocumented is not a crime. It's a civil violation. And the civil penalty for that is deportation. But you are not a criminal if you are here without authorization. And that's a distinction that a lot of people don't know about, because all they hear is these are criminals and we're going to get rid of them. I don't know if anybody has seen the television ad from Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Christine Owen. Yeah, she was, it's a 30-second ad where she says, if you're here illegally, leave. Because if you don't, and we catch you and send you away, you will never come back to this country. If you are here illegally and you leave voluntarily, maybe we'll let you. So that is the new rule of the Department of Homeland Security. And finally, on Tuesday, our House of Representatives passed a budget resolution that massively increased funding for mass deportation, immigrant detention, border militarization, and family separation. These are spending initiatives that are taking money away from poverty assistance programs for people who are citizens. So the Senate bill includes $350 billion for immigration enforcement. Now imagine what we could do with all that money if we put it, what I think, in the right place for people who need services. Yeah. Yes. So I've been doing this work for about 10 years, and this is about as dangerous fraught a time as I've experienced. And as I said, every one of our clients, all of us, there are 4 of us that do this work. They're all at risk. And when they call and they're in a state of panic, we don't have very much to say that is about any kind of assurance because we simply don't know. So I just tell people live a clean life. Don't do anything dumb. Carry your papers with you. Keep a local. Some of my clients, one lady said, I haven't left the house for 2 weeks. I'm scared to death. All my curtains are drawn, my doors are locked. I'm not going out. I don't know what to say to her. You know, there's nothing I can say that has any element of truth other than to say, well, be careful. Just be careful. So that's a little picture of what we do at Immigration Services. And I really appreciate being able to come here and talk with you and share these stories because these are real people. You know who you read. And some people are like way more than others. So I'm happy to stick around afterwards if you have questions. I could talk for several hours like this, which I'm not supposed to. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.